Good morning, children. See, day before yesterday we have discussed regarding the textbook lesson. Nana. What is our lesson? What we have discussed about the Mauna, about mountain Mauna. Today we have to discuss Nana, few of the exercises related to the chapter. Okay. Before to that, there is a multiple choice questions. Nana. Jumping is a easy peasy. Watch me jump over this bush. Who said this? Who was he talking to? Why was he jumping over a bush? There is, who said this? Nana, Mona's brother. And he was talking to Mona. He did to show Mona how to jump. Okay, in this way they have given you the dialogues and you have to find out who said that, who to whom they are talking, and what is the action, what they did. Now they have given you, Nana, few more sentences and they told you to underline the verb. So before to underline the verb, Nana, you should know what is a verb. Regarding the mountain Mona lesson, we are discussing the few grammar points, few exercises, textual exercises. On page number 30, they have given you growing flowers, falling, leaping, stomping. These all are the action words. Action, growing, falling, and leaping and stomping. These all words are known as action words. Nana, what they are known as? Action words, or action words are known as verbs. Action words are known as verb. What are these action words? And we can call action word as a verb. So what is a verb? A verb is a word which denotes the action of a noun or a pronoun. Now given to you here down few of the sentences and they told you to underline the circle the correct verb in each. Okay, correct the circle. Watch me scramble, stomp, jump, scramble over this bush. Over that bush, what we do? Jump. We should not stomp and we should not scramble. Jumping means that. So in this way, they have given you the correct verb form. Correct verb you have to use here. Next, Nana, compound words. What do you mean by compound words? See, compound words are formed by adding two different words. Suppose, see children, compound words are formed by combining two different words. They can be formed by any two nouns or two, a noun and an adjective and a verb, or and means there is no specific rule for the combining words. They told us compound words can be formed by combining noun or a noun, or by combining noun or a verb, or in another way they gave. One way noun or noun, one way noun or verb. In one way they gave noun and adjective. So in any way, the word compounding word means two words have been joined to form another word. Suppose basket and ball. If we combine basket and ball both, what is our compound word? Nana, basketball. Here two nouns. Basket is a noun, ball is a noun. When we are combining two nouns, we are getting another noun. The name of the sport, basketball. In a way, here what is this, Nana? Candle. Candlesticks. Now cupcake. Horseshoe. So these are the compounding words, means the words which are formed by joining two words. The words which are formed by combining two words, they are known as combining words. And these compound words don't have any specific rule. Okay, we can combine two nouns, we can combine a noun and a verb, we can combine an adjective or an noun. So anyway, according to the situation we can, okay, they may be any, ఎలా అయినా కంబైన్ చేసి ఉంటాయి. కరెక్ట్ మీనింగ్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు గెట్ ఇట్. అండ్ రిగార్డింగ్ ద గ్రామర్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ చాప్టర్ చిల్డ్రన్, one more new term has been introduced to you, that is subject and predicate. Subject and predicate. See, already in the grammar part I have explained to you what is a subject and what is a predicate. The doer of the action is known as the subject and the remaining part of the sentence is known as the predicate. Now let us see what definition has been given to you in the textbook. Subject of a sentence is the person or the thing that the sentence is about. Means ఎవరి గురించి అయితే ఆ సెంటెన్స్ లో ఉంటుందో దాన్ని సబ్జెక్ట్ అంటాము. And the remaining part is known as the predicate. Suppose Raju is going to the market. Here who is going to the market? Raju is going to the market. So Raju is the doer of the action. Raju is the doer of the action in the sentence. So Raju is known as the subject and the remaining sentence is known as the predicate. So the doer of the action in a sentence is known as the subject and the remaining part is known as the predicate. Now let us see the few examples given to you in your textbook. First, another sentence, your book is on the table. Your book is on the table. What is on the table? Nana? Book. So what is the subject here? Your book. Your book. And the remaining sentence is the predicate. Suppose my brother plays the guitar. My brother is the subject. My brother is the subject, children. And the remaining sentence is known as the predicate. Okay, my brother is the subject and plays the guitar. Guitar is the predicate. Your book is the subject here. Is on the table. It is the predicate. Okay. So in this way, the main part of the sentence is known as the subject and the remaining part is known as the predicate. Okay. And a few more sentences has been given to you in your textbook, children. A girl from the 5th grade came first in the 100-meter race. A girl from the 5th grade is the subject. The two children helped their mother clean the house. The two children is the subject. Okay, the two children is the subject. In this way, we can give the subject and the predicate. Okay, what is the predicate, Nana? What is the subject? In a sentence, the doer of the action or the person about which we are talking about in the sentence, the person or the thing about which we are discussing in the sentence is known as the subject and the remaining part is known as the predicate. Okay. So regarding this chapter here, you have been given subject and predicate. You have to combine. On page number 32, they have given you match the subject and the predicate. So easily you can do this work if you have the clear clarification of this. Okay, children. Once read the lesson, go through the exercise related to the subject and predicate. Have a nice day.